The last time Persia got absolutely comboed, this time we're gonna have stuff happen in this region. Make sure to stick around to the end. This video is going to be okay. So yeah, we're gonna. What did I call these guys? I forgot. The Indo-Persians or something. Either way, um, these guys, their civil war thing is finally going to start ramping up again because the Indus, if you remember, um, they kind of cured the stuff over here. However, with the Persian Civil War, these guys started expanding rapidly, and that expansion is going to continue today, especially with their launching of a war, of a complete global war, a war on what they call everyone who has tried to colonize them. Basically, this will include literally anybody that tries to stop them from becoming independent. Quickly, they're going to relaunch their campaign into the Indus Valley civilization, and that is because they're going to deem those guys a part of the war. And they're also going to, obviously, Persia is going to be a part of the war as well. Quickly, the invasion is going to continue. A lot of stuff is going to begin falling miserably, and yeah, this is not looking good for any side actually. Quickly, the Persians are going to realize that this may actually completely destroy what's left of their economy, so they're just going to completely pull out, and that is going to leave behind the area completely under control of I forgot their name, the Indo-Persian guys, the rebels. And this is going to start scaring the Indus a little bit because that's a lot of land. That's almost as much land as the Indus itself. So now the rebels have almost the same land as the main government. That is never that's never good. Actually, this land might actually be a little bit better. It might actually be. But either way, this is not looking good at all. These guys are quickly going to realize that these guys are quickly going to realize that we're in a position of power that might make the blue team a little bit upset with us. So they quickly begin solidifying control over these regions because they know now is the time for guerrilla warfare. Meanwhile, back in the blue team, they're now thinking of what exactly to do with this land because this is not very profitable to keep under their control. It's kind of um it kind of like just ruined land. So they're going to begin the withdrawal process, and that's going to be first the withdrawal from all of this land, which is not going to be returned to the red team. However, it's not going to be given to the red team. It's just going to be kind of destroyed, just gone. You know. Again, it's very sad what happened in Persia. It's still pretty sad. I still haven't gotten over how brutally I killed the Persian thing off. That might have been the most brutal death in the entire series. Normally, it's just like getting overpowered by someone else. This was on a different level. This was just comboing. It was also so unnecessary. Normally, a death is because you did something that was idiotic. This wasn't even their fault. No matter what they did, they would have lost. Meanwhile, the power vacuum is growing bigger and bigger, especially with the blue team trying to get involved now. Because yeah, they're making it sound like they're sorry, but they're not sorry. They knew this would happen and they wanted this to happen. The Mamluks, they're just scared for what's going to happen now because now the red team has been reminded that if they have enough military, they can combo the Mamluks at any time, and being reminded that is going to put the Mamluks at risk, heavy risk. Meanwhile, the Mamluks are actually going to do something, and that is going to be funding rebellions over here. Basically, they're gonna launch war, a brutal campaign that is based off of simply destroying as much land and causing as much damage to the blue team's reputation in old Ottoman lands as possible. And it's going to go pretty well. They're gonna pretty much capture the entire south, and yeah, the red team's getting scared, a little scared. Um, quickly though, they're gonna get pushed back and they're going to be reminded not to mess with the red team because the red team is now going to do the final damage to the Mamluks. That's finally going to wipe their name out from the world's top powers for good for the foreseeable future episodes, unless something drastic happens. We don't know. We never know. And that is going to be the capture of the Sinai. Not only that, however, they're also going to be removed from European politics, with them being forced to surrender over Greece. Now the surrender of Greece, even though the red team didn't capture it, it's these guys don't really want any more beef. They're also going to be forced to let go of Alexandria, which again, this is some unfair stuff. However, the red team does not want any more competition because they now want to refocus on their African stuff. The loss of Carthage did deal a lot of damage to them. They still have not been able to recover from that. They still have not been able to do anything in Africa, and they probably are not going to be able to do anything in Africa just due to the fact that the blue team is still so greedy, especially with their latest land purchase, and that's going to be a lot. And that's going to be a treaty with another tribe, and that is going to be all of this stuff. Yeah, the blue team expansion never stops in uh in Africa. Now this one is going to be not really that important, mostly just to make the borders look a little bit nicer. However, going to go to East Asia for this video now, because uh yeah, East Asia has been destabilized. One sec, let me finish this. Okay, there we go. The audio is not delayed. I was just speaking about things I wasn't looking at. But yeah, now in East Asia, and the Japanese. No, the blue team's on the side of the Saigon, right? Yeah, the red team is going to start getting some diplomacy with the Japanese, who want to basically become like they want to export their culture or the tokens. They want to export their influence and culture all over to the world, and their eye is currently set on the Philippines. Why is there a random island here? You know what? This is Micronation 2.0. If you watch season 1, you know exactly what we were talking about. We're actually going to move this somewhere better. Let's move it right there. Just a small little island, chilling. If anyone harms it, they will be destroyed. But the Japanese, they're going to launch their own invasion of the Philippines. Now, quickly, it's not going to be that much of an invasion. It's mostly going to be springing up a few rebels here and there, and these rebels are eventually going to topple the government after capturing the capital. Now, they're going to be insanely unpopular. However, with the government gone, the Japanese are going to solidify control, and these rebels are going to become the new government of the Philippines. So now they're allied to Japan, and everyone is now racing for power, especially Shanghai, who really needs land. And in their pursuit for land, they're going to launch the invasion of these guys, which is going to go surprisingly well, actually. The capital is going to fall almost instantly, and yeah, yeah. From here, it's just wipe out. Now, if you remember, these guys were kind of linked to these guys, so those guys are also going to declare war. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I see the vision. I see the vision. Yeah. hmm Well, that was fast. But anyway, yeah, these guys are both absolutely calm. But I do not need to expand on this. There's nothing that can happen to change these guys' stats. Literally nothing. But yeah. Sometimes I feel bad for killing off nations randomly. Other times I could not care less. And other times I'm just brutal. Again, with what happened in Persia. Anyway, Japan and Shanghai and Tokyo are both now, trying to make their power as big as possible, while Saigon and the blue team are still trying to maintain some peace. However, it looks like it's about to be World War Asia because or East Asia because no one's really being able to stop this escalation. Quickly, Shanghai is going to launch another invasion, and that is going to be the invasion of these guys. This one is due to just again land and resources. These guys are really rich in natural resources, and are also not um do not have a good military. So again, invasion, capital is gone, and eventually the entire country falls. And just like with what happened over there, complete annexation. Complete annexation. This one though is now labeled as outer Shanghai. So Shanghai is starting to differ enough for them to have to create the provinces type thing that the red team does, where the land is just so big that they can't be governed by one people. So yeah, um, the prince, the prince helped in Shanghai's war, so the king is dethroned and replaced with a prince, and the Japanese are starting to get scared a little bit, especially when Shanghai starts eyeing down these guys. And so a proposal is made by the Japanese, and that is to basically cut through the capital like that and split this land in two. Oh no, that doesn't look nice. Basically, do this, split through the thing, go down a lot, and then yeah. Shanghai though agrees, however, on the condition that it actually ends up looking like this. They let Japan have the capital, however, they want the entire coast. Japan says okay, but by the way, if you're new here, basically when I say Japan, I just mean the Token civilization, which is these guys. These guys. Why is the capital of these guys still here exactly? Let's erase that really quickly. Anyway, uh, like that. And yeah, there we go. Yeah, so something like that. Eventually, this is agreed on, and well, this is not agreed on, and Japan is like, yeah, we're not letting this happen, and so war. Quickly, Japanese are able to capture a bunch of land, mostly the really like Japanese land over here that had a lot of Japanese living in there, or Tokens living in there. The war quickly expands, and Shanghai is like, we're not going to let this happen either. And so they meet up with the Japanese troops, and they push all the way over here. Now, the fight against Shanghai doesn't really exist because these guys know that Shanghai is just trying to preserve them. But either way, the capture of all these lands is going to weaken them still, and eventually they're going to lose the north. So this border ends up happening either way. Now, uh, Shanghai is going to annex their part of this, while the Japanese are going to vassalize it. Still going to be part of outer Shanghai, still not actual Shanghai. Shanghai is looking like it's also probably going to annex these guys, but Saigon might get to that first, just because Saigon does need some land. Meanwhile, these guys are going to collaborate with these guys to start an immigration type thing. Basically, they want to make the Silk Road from our timeline. And quickly, we're going to have the creation of a new country that's going to help with that. These guys are going to move. We're going to be called the Silk Land civilization. And they're going to basically just like spread. Um, that looks disgusting. Spread. And they're going to be from this country. And their only goal is to basically colonize the entire Silk Road themed land, like the land deemed a part of the Silk Road. And these guys, they're going to do the same thing, except they're going to colonize it themselves. And they're going to colonize this land. Yeah, see? We're having colonization, we're having first communications, and now we're having actual land bridges between these countries. Um, Actually, I think we can just demolish this. We'll look at this at a later episode. I don't think the world is ready for this yet. But these guys are still going to expand, obviously. And they're going to expand this way. And those guys are still going to send those scouts, but they're not going to form a country this time. Either way, the Silk Road is looking pretty nice. And, well, all of this, you know what this means? It means the red team is getting scared. Because the red team really does not want the two lands to actually be combined. Which is kind of going against their Japanese allies, because their Japanese allies want the lands to be completely combined so that they can rule it all. This is quickly going to lead to some conflicts, which is going to lead to the red team still helping Japan. However, this time in a way where they know Japan can't win this, so they're hoping that Shanghai actually wins. So now instead of it being blue team in Saigon versus Japan, is blue team Saigon versus Japan still, but now Shanghai is also against Japan, and they're being helped by the red team, which is going to mean that blue team cuts their support to Shanghai because these guys are still enemies. Um, Over in Europe, though, we're going to have the creation of a new nation. This one going to be called, what are they going to be called? Uh, this line over here, I think it has to remain empty because Crimea never going to really let anyone get here, if I'm being honest. Anyway, let's create it right here, and that is going to be the Netherlands, I guess. Yeah, it's going to be a huge nation. We're going to call it Legoland because I want to, and they're going to be pretty nomad, kind of. Like they're not going to stay in one spot, basically. Also, I know this video is a little bit shorter than normal. However, we are going to be ending it here because I'm still sick and did not have the energy to keep filming. So I know not a lot happened in this video, but I hope you still enjoyed. So make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.